Yes.
Hey, what do you mean by a self-paced course?
Well, the course material is available in the form of video lectures. And there are multiple practice problems that come along as well. So, you can access all of it anywhere, anytime. And they are available to you for lifetime.
No way.
Oh, yes, way. Don't delay and enroll now.
Geeks learning together.
Wait, I guess I'll be audible now. Hi, everybody. Yeah, okay, right. So, thank you so much, Deepak. Right, so let's quickly begin the session. But before the session, I hope that I'm audible, right? If somebody could help me again, it will be really helpful. Deepak, can you help me again, please? Thank you so much. Okay, thank you. Right. So yeah. So this series is quite this interview experience is different from the other experiences we have. This time it's like my interview experience for professionals. It's not just for freshers. Yes, the freshers can get an idea and inspiration from their seniors because they will be seniors, but they'll have content for those who are switching job over the years and are looking for a job change, and yes, a guide that went and how should you go for an interview when you are looking for a job change. So yeah, they will help you out. And today for this session we have Mr. Kunal with us, who will share his experience. He has a good experience in the industry. I'll let him talk about this more, and for that I'll be adding him into the stream quickly. So yeah, let's add Kunal to the stream. Thank you so much, guys, who were helping me out in the comment section. Thank you so much, Hirdesh. Thank you so much, Manisai. Thank you so much. Let's add Kunal to the stream. Hi, Kunal. How are you?
Hi, Shweta. How
Kunal,
are you?
you are on mute.
Good evening.
I guess. Okay. Yeah. Good evening. Good evening. So, how was your day, Kunal?
Yeah, it was good. Just a normal working day. Code, release, debug, and oops, I missed it. Repeat again.
Right. So, Kunal, let's quickly begin the session without wasting any time.
Yeah.
Our viewers would love to know an introduction about you, like your learning journey, about yourself. So, please start with that.
Yeah. So I'm Kunal Sindhwani. I'm working in Zalora. In It's a lifestyle e-commerce in Singapore, and I did my post graduation from Delhi University, and my major was computer science. And I generally like to invest some of so for my learning journey, I always try to keep my knowledge and skills up to date, and like I'd also like to invest my free time in doing some short-term courses to maybe on some online platforms, maybe trying to participate in some online hackathons, uh, challenging myself with some like brain teasers and some coding challenges. So that's pretty much like I would like to spend my day with. And yeah, I mean, apart from this 9 to 6 p.m. profile, I always prefer to play sports and watching TV series a lot.
Okay. So, what all TV series? Which TV series
I mean,
are you watching these days?
I mean, that would take the seminar to a different topic, I think. Yeah, I'm actually a fan of like, yeah, that would actually take a seminar to a different topic.
Yeah, that will be a whole lot different. Basically, you can't talk about it for a second, but yes, it will take you to some
Yeah,
another
I
level
mean,
if we
yeah,
start talking
right,
about it.
exactly. people will start making choris and choris.
Cool, cool.
Yeah.
So, moving ahead, Kunal, we would love to know how many years of experience you mentioned you have?
So I have in total of 5 years of experience, and I'm working in
Right,
Singapore from the last 2 years.
2 years. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. So, right. So, in the starting of your career, like, so we want to know that your experience of getting your first job. What was it? What was the company? All about it, and how did you prepare for it? Everything about it.
Yeah, sure. So I think my first company was Indus Valley Partners. It was my campus placement, and during my post graduation. So I was hired as an associate software engineer there. It was a fintech based company. Basically, the company's role was to make products after basically
Okay.
post trading of the post trading. So my role was there. I was hired in the data warehouse team of that company, and my role was to design the to contribute to the full stack development of their product, which we call as Polaris.
Okay.
So it is actually a data warehouse product which was designed for the hedge funds, and my role was to work on the full stack development. The back end was C sharp, and the front end was like HTML, CSS, and jQuery. The process was, it was pretty much similar to as what you can see in almost any other company during campus placement. They so we have a 4 to 5 rounds. The one round was for aptitude. Generally, when you apply at campus placement or at fresher yeah, I would say at campus placement or at a fresher level, you have to face the aptitude round, because at that time you don't have much experience. The company wants to test on your aptitude skills. So that was the
Right.
first round, and the second round was my one coding challenge round. Depend on the company, it could be either pen paper based, or it could be online, like some maybe hacker geek for geek and like hacker hacker rank. So it depends on that. From at my time, the industry partner took pen paper based round, because they believe, because it depends on the company's policy and the type of exam they want, because like in my case, company prefer candidates who can write the code, like who can write responsive code without any error, using pen and paper. So we have a pen
Okay.
paper based round. So it was a general. The problem was not that tough, because it was a fresher level. So the problem, a common problem was given to all the participants, and this code and all the round was elimination round, and in this round you are judged on base of how responsive your code is, and how much it's readable. There are some factors like how much readable the code is, how much responsive, and what approach you use, basically the time complexity and all that stuff. So that was the second round for
Okay.
me. Then we have two or three face-to-face round, depending on the company to company. In my case, it was two face-to-face round. So basically, this is the most grilling part, where you will actually face a panel of 3 to 4 people, or maybe one director or one senior level engineer, where they will ask you about the project you did in your college life, or maybe if you have some internship, some achievements. All the discussions are made based on that. Plus, they'll also ask you some specific some technical problems. Like it depends on either some logical problems, or maybe some problems related to data structure and algorithms. And at that time, basically, the aim was the point where the candidate is being judged at the point that how fast he can provide a solution to a problem, and how much he's able to invest to improve on that. Like in my case, I
Right.
always follow a brute force approach. Like if you gave me a problem, I always give you first the brute force approach, irrespective of the fact that even if I know the optimized approach, I'll always give the brute force approach, because that's where because that's something came to your mind at the very first time, because that's something which strikes to your mind. And then uh, the face-to-face rounds were mainly focused on checking on checking the ability of a candidate at how much he is able to invest to improve the solution. So that was almost like 4 rounds. After you cleared all those rounds, then there will be an HR round. Like that's the famous, the money making, the money round. But yeah,
Right.
at fresher, I mean, if you're talking about the campus placement, generally the money part is not discussed in the HR round. It's more focused on your background profile, your interest, like what things you do apart from your after your college time, maybe some of your extracurricular activities, something like that. The reason for this is, I mean, sorry. So basically, on campus, as I mentioned, on campus placement, the package is not discussed. Reason for this is the CTC is already being decided by the placement committee before company visits your college. But if you are applying for a non-campus job, or maybe or if you are applying after getting some experience, or you are switching your jobs, this is the point where the package negotiations are being made, that what company can offer, how much you are expecting. Then you have to settle to some middle ground where you are also satisfied, and company is also willing to pay for you. Sometimes they also discuss your notice period and something like that, and similar things. So basically,
Okay.
this is the point where all non-technical discussions are being made. And when can you join, and like why you want to join? I mean, all those like typical HR questions, that why you want to join, where do you see yourself in 5 years? All those questions are being made in this round.
Right. Right.
So that's pretty much
Move.
my experience. Yeah,
Yes. Yes. Please complete.
I mean, yeah. So that's pretty much my experience of getting my first job. I worked there for 2 years, and after that,
Okay.
I did my first switch actually.
Okay, great, great, perfect. One more thing that you mentioned that the HR ask about your extracurricular activities and everything. So, what do you think is important of these things in that HR round? If somebody is not into extracurricular, or if somebody is into extracurricular, how does this impact the whole interview process?
I mean, if you ask me, the thing is that I mean, no one wants a working machine in a company. That's the thing. I mean, asking this
Exactly.
extracurricular activity, the only reason to asking that how much the candidate is actually willing to invest on himself. Like for example, if someone say I don't do anything, I mean that's actually rude,
Yeah.
because if I mean, the thing is that if you're saying that I only work and work, nobody wants that. I mean, because that means that you are not a person who can manage your work life balance. So that's something. And
Exactly.
if you have extracurricular, and if you can actually show your interest, that shows that yes, apart from the job, you are also willing to invest your time on yourself, and maybe on some other activities which actually interest you in. So, and plus, like discussing about all this, actually gives you a, how would I say that? I won't say it gives you an edge, but yeah, it shows a personality of your. It shows a different side of yours in the interview, that that you have the knowledge to work in a company, but you can also contribute to the other activities of the company. I mean, because sometimes company also all the companies do some extra fun activities. So that
Right.
shows that yes, you are also willing. You can also contribute in that also. And again, I mean, if you ask me, um, contributing in those activities in the company is actually part of your OKR. Like basically,
Okay.
it's a kind of your, yeah. I mean, basically OKR means like it's kind of your milestones you have to achieve in particular. Let's say quarter or a half yearly. So
Okay.
contributing in that company as a part of community is also a part of your OKR.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah.
Right. So, moving forward to our next question. This must be a question of confusion for many. I am pretty sure, and must be people really want to know about this. And what do you think is a good time to switch from a job, and what factors should switch from a job, and also what factors one should take into consideration while switching a job?
Mm, Honestly, I think there is no good time to switch for a job. I mean, it depends on person to person. That sometimes, like some people switch their jobs because they're, as I told you, work-life balance. For some people, money and the type of work are the driving factors. Like they want to switch, or maybe some people want that they should invest some time in the company to learn the domain knowledge and then they switch. So it depends on person to person. I mean, if you ask me, the good time to switch from job is when you find that driving factor to move on. I think that would be the uh, good time, that when you feel that now it's time to move on, that's a good time for to switch for a job. I mean, and the
Okay.
what factor should one? I mean, the one factor. I mean, yeah, there are some. I mean, exactly, there is no exhaustive list about those factors, but I can point out some factors. Like for example, the first is learning or type of work. I mean, honestly, for me, this is one of the important factors for me to switch from a job. Like if I feel that I'm getting stagnant in some kind of in my job, or I'm not getting enough learning, like that was the case in my first company. Like after 2 years I feel I'm doing the same thing again and again. So I mean, that for some people it's actually their comfort zone, but for me I like to push myself. So that's something I feel that learning is one of the major reasons I decided for a switch. That's
Okay.
one thing. Other factor could be other factor could be, I would say, money. I mean, yes, I won't say money is not the important. I mean, money is also an important factor, not just not for me, but it's also an important factor. I think that someone should switch the company just because of money reason, only if they feel that they are not getting as per the market standard, or there's a huge difference between the market standard and the what they're getting. Then I mean, I think that then the one should switch the company. And the
Okay.
third thing is, I think there is one more factor I can say, which actually, like for me, is like work-life balance. I feel that this is one of the most crucial reasons, because like the thing is that there's always, I mean, you can agree that there's always some kind of stress exists in the work. Wha- Whatever you say that we are working in a non-stressful environment, there's always some kind of stress, and it's very difficult to handle that stress over a long period of time.
Right.
So you actually need to have a work-life balance where you can actually invest in some other activities, like maybe reading or play some sports, etc. So so because that actually keeps you healthy and more focused on the work, and it actually increase your efficiency and productivity. So I think these three are the major factors which one should consider while switching a job. And
Okay.
there could be some minor factor also, like let's say if you are getting a good opportunity, for example, going from a small scale company to a global one, go with that. Or I would say, if you are let's say if you want if you're getting a higher position in some next company as compared to your current one, people do switch for that. People do switch that is also.
Okay.
I think
Now,
there is one question
we'll
by
take
Mali
the
side.
questions. We'll take the questions in the Q&A session, Kunal.
Okay, okay.
Right. So, guys, we'll take up all your questions after our questions will be over. So, yeah. My next question to you, Kunal, is have you been a part of any interview process lately? And if yes, then how was it different from your first interview?
I mean, you mean the my first company?
Yeah, your first company.
Oh, I
Have
mean,
you been a part of any interview process during this pandemic season?
yes. I
Oh,
mean, the thing is that right now I'm actually occupied in doing some certifications to improve my skills. So the last interview I had, which was last year in Apple, I applied for
okay.
Apple, and I mean, believe me, it was actually a very good experience. I
Okay.
mean, uh, compared to my first, if you ask me, I mean, even if even if you ask me as a 5 year experience, it was also a great experience. I mean, the type of question and the type of problem they gave to me are actually based on real life problems, where
Okay.
I can actually relate what kind of problem customers are facing, or what kind of problem are there if you have a million or a billion customer base. So compared to the first one, definitely there was a lot of, I mean, there's a huge difference of the level of the questions. and the expectations and the expectation which the interview was having from me. Like for example, when I was in my campus placement, the only expectations was that I should be able to do some coding in some particular in some X language, or I should be good in logical skills. These were the expectations at my campus placement. But if you ask me now, the expectations are totally different. Now, interviewer wants me that I should be
Right.
able to decide on the infrastructure decisions. I should be able to design the system. I should be able to solve complex problem and in a optimized and a very reliable manner. Now, if you ask me now, the constraints at this, at this level, the expectations are not that you should know this or you should know that. The expectations are that you should be able to solve a particular set of problem, or you should be able to design your system in such a way that it should be reliable, scalable. The concerns are now the concerns are completely different now. That would
Right.
I would say that.
Okay. Moving forward, what do you think are the common mistakes one make while interviews, during switching their jobs, and how to work upon those?
I guess there are some common mistakes which people do while switching the jobs, and the first common mistake that comes to top of my mind is not understanding the job description.
Okay.
For example, let's say a company is hiring for let's say a mobile app developer, or maybe they wanted some language developer, or maybe they need some X years of experience. Now,
Right.
many times candidates ignore these requirements, and they end up, or maybe they ignore this requirement, or they feel that they are not relevant, and as a result,
Yeah.
they end up either giving interviews with incomplete preparation, or they just got blanked by the question they faced, because they got surprised that the questions were coming from a topic in which they don't, either they're not comfortable, or they don't have the experience. So I
Right.
think that's one of the common mistake I feel, that reading a job description is very important, so that you should not be able to waste. You should only apply to the job which suits your profile.
Okay.
Second mistake I think would be, um, like candidates does not know well about the project they mention in their resume, and I think that's
Okay.
very important, because all your interviews discussion starts with your projects and contributions only.
Right.
And if you don't know that, there are very high chances that you will fail the interview. You should have the in-depth knowledge about what you are mentioning in the resume, and you should be thorough with that. And
Okay.
third thing I would say, it's more of a like that when you are an experienced professional, or when you are switching your jobs, it's always expected for you to jot down only the relevant details in your resume. I feel that some people do make mistakes, or I won't say mistake, or maybe I would say they are not able to understand that how uh, how to create a resume when you are an experienced professional. Like what details,
Okay.
what should you put in the resume, or I would say what should not be put in the resume. That's a very important question, that what should not
That's
be
my
put.
actually next question to you. Yeah, my next
Right.
question would be around
Exactly.
this only.
What should not be put in the resume.
Yeah.
That's a very
Let's
that's
continue to the next question only. I'll just change the banner and let's go towards the resume thing. That what do you think
Yeah.
about how a resume should be built up over the years?
Oh, okay. That's actually that's a question quite relatable.
Exactly. That
Relatable.
was my last question
Yeah.
to you. Yeah.
So if you ask me in one line, my answer would be, at any point of time, your resume should represent your professional summary at any point of time.
Okay.
So, if you in technical terms, I think the people who will understand this. In technical terms, I feel the resume should have a FIFO strategy: first in, first out. So as you gain more experience, more knowledge, you should always update your resume with those new achievements, and you should always trim down the old ones, or maybe something you have entered your resume at the very first at the
Okay.
very first point. So that's the FIFO strategy. And if you ask me, like in my case, what my approach is, I always update my resume after every 4 to 6 months. So that
Okay.
actually motivates me to gain new skills in 1 quarter, or maybe in one half, or in a half year, so that I could update my resume with those skills, and then I start trim down the details, or maybe the achievement which I got in, like in my maybe like 3 years before, or 4 years before. Like for example, when I was in my college, I published a newspaper. Oh, sorry, I published a research paper. So I
Okay.
used that. I used this achievement for my first job. But when I was moving from my first job, I removed this detail from my resume because now it's not needed. Now I have to show
Okay.
other skills, like what kind of technical skills I have, what language I know, what frameworks I know, what kind of what's my work experience. So that's something. So I feel that over the years you should always keep update your resume frequently, maybe some 4 to 6 months. Try to add try to add something new. Try to remove
Okay.
some old achievements. Also, there's one more thing, that always keep a limit on the length of the resume. That's very important. I mean, I can actually give you an example where, I mean, till date, with my 5 years of experience, my resume is still 1 page, and it actually helps me a lot. That if your resume is 1 page, it actually gives a very good impression to the interviewer, or maybe to the recruiter, because uh, when they do the resume screening, it's actually true thing that when they do the resume screening, your resume only gets 2 or 3 minutes, nothing more, not more than that. So you should always jot down the relevant details, and it should be in a fashion where it should be visible at the very first look. So I think that's
Okay.
something you should do about your resume over the years.
Okay. Thank you so much for that insight, Kunal. Now, without wasting any time, let's quickly shift to the Q&A session from our live audience. I would request to our viewers to drop in their questions in the comment section so that we can discuss those questions with Kunal and get your queries solved. So yeah, I would just
Okay.
like to tell Omkesh here that if you have some scenario-based questions in your mind, you can just drop those questions in the comment section, and we'll ask those questions from Kunal, and yeah. Next question we'll take from
Manisai,
okay.
we can do for Manisai. So like, hi Manisai. For the fresher, as you asked, that for the fresher they will pay high salary. For the high salary, then what quality and skills they will see. It's true actually. I mean, it depends on. I would say it depends on company to company. Like for example, if you say some mid-level company, or some small scale company, they have their policies that they can only give that much amount to a fresher. Like for example, I can actually give you an example. Let's say you are going, like, let's say you're going to Paytm, for example. Paytm. So Paytm has this policy that if a person is like 1 or 1.5 years of experience, they can only get they can only give certain amount to them, not more than that. So it depends on company's policy. But yes, there are some companies. I don't think that I have to tell their names, like Amazon, Netflix, Google. They don't care about the money. They only see what skills you have, and what you can show and what you can do, and then they'll pay you accordingly. So it depends on.
Okay.
It happens both ways.
Next question is from Dipanshu. Will it be sufficient for a
Hi,
fresher to be good in competitive program?
Hi Dipanshu. I would say for a fresher, competitive being good in competitive programming is definitely a plus point. But as a fresher, you will all most of the times you'll be faced with aptitude round, because
And no
as you
development.
can
Actually, he has mentioned in the other comment, competitive programming and no development.
What do you mean by development? Can you please explain?
I
I don't.
Let's wait. You can continue with the answer for the first one, and then if he'll respond, we'll go forward with that.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, as I was mentioning that for being good in competitive programming definitely gives you an edge. But as a fresher, you'll always most of the times you'll be faced with aptitude round. Reason for this is that when companies wants to look for freshers, they'll get a lot of students or maybe a lot of candidates. So aptitude round
Hmm.
is one of the way to filter them. I mean, I know
Right.
it's a hard truth, but it's a way to filter them so that they can actually interview the quality candidates.
Exactly.
So I would say, as a fresher level, you should also be good at aptitude, and then competitive programming. Third thing, I would say that invest some time to do some pen and paper coding. I mean, at least try to write a compiled at least try to write a error-free code, or I would say the code that can be compiled properly using pen and paper. So that's something I
Okay.
would say as a fresher you should be good at.
Okay. Someone, Divya is asking, can you describe the entry process at Zalora company? Like we will get to know about the strictness and how to be more familiar with the company.
Um, okay, so yeah, I mean, I applied to Zalora when I was having 3 years of experience. So for me, the number of rounds were 6. That it starts with one online coding round. Um, I have actually, I have also published my experience in Geeks for Geeks for Zalora.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So I still know. So like it was 6 rounds actually. So the first round was it's an online coding round. The problem was a variation of a NASDAQ problem. Uh, I still remember there were 12 test cases which I have to pass through my code, and I was able to pass 11 test cases. So that was my first round. Second, then there was three technical rounds where I was interviewed on the basis of my data structure and algorithm skills and system design. When you talk about data structure and algorithm skills, as I mentioned before, I always try to start my solution with the brute force algorithm, and then I try to improve on that. So as soon as you are showing that you can improve your solution or you are trying to get an optimized solution, it's fine. I mean, I can say some companies always prefer an optimized solution. I think that's not a good approach because because many times you are not able to give an optimized solution. But yes, there are many companies who prefer uh, candidates who are willing to spend time to improve a solution. They don't care about the optimized one, but yes, they want the candidate to spend some time to improve the solution. And after two technical rounds, I have one system design round where I was given to design a payment service because it's an e-commerce. So there's a lot of payment service. So the payment service was actually a real life scenario that I had to design a payment service. So in that interview round, the main focus of that interview round was that if I have to design a system from scratch, what kind of decisions I will take, what kind of constraints I will consider, and what will be my thinking process to make the system more reliable and more maintainable and scalable. Because when it comes to e-commerce, you will never know when the traffic will get a peak height. So you should always make your system scalable and reliable. So after these 3 rounds, there was one round with with my current one managerial round, and was with the director. So the
Okay.
managerial round was again mix of both behavioral. I mean, I won't say it was pure technical. It was mostly behavioral and technical, where I was asked that what's my life after 6 p.m. As simple as that. What's my life after 6 p.m. So that's something they asked for me. And then the director round. where it was again bit of technical, but mostly uh, based on what kind of my personality is and spend how do I uh, how do I behave as a team, what's my what kind of decision I make, or how do I work, what's my ideal work environment, all those questions. So yeah, I mean, when you are applying, so I mean, uh, Divya, I would say that when you are applying when you are applying as an experienced professional, or when you are switching jobs as an experienced professional, the kind of strict, I won't say that it's not that much strict. The interviews are not that much strict. They're more flexible, and it depends. And it's all you have to show that all you have to show your work experience and your knowledge, that what you can do and how you can contribute in the company.
Okay, as we are running short of time, we have to wind up the session here only. Thank you so much, Kunal, for the Q&A session, and I thank you so much for the audience to engage with us. I'm pretty sure that we'll clear the rest of the doubts in some other session, and we'll get you somebody who can answer all these questions as well. So yeah, we can't help it because we have already exceeded the time limit. So
I
Kunal,
mean,
I
I think
hope that you have.
I can quickly answer Anirudh's question and Sushovan's question. I think that's pretty much straightforward.
Okay, yeah, please go if
Yeah,
you
I
can.
mean, Sushovan, to answer your question for system design, I would recommend you to start with small systems. Like for example, start designing a payment service, start designing a tracking service, or maybe just think about that when you write some code, how you can segregate the responsibilities to different components. Like for example, how you can segregate the cache mechanism, how you can segregate the queue mechanism, or how you can segregate the database mechanism. Just think on that perspective. That will actually help you out. And plus, you can also refer there are some good courses on system design. There is one in educative, and there is one in interview ready. You can always uh, refer those courses, and I think that's pretty much actually that will help you to get comfortable in system design. For Anirudh, how to start completed coding and master them. I would say that there's a trick I used, which and Geeks actually helped me a lot in that. I never uh, practice questions just for a particular topic, unless I'm quite weak in that. The problem with that thing is that, let's say if you're doing some questions of array or linked list, your mind will only your mind will get locked on that topic only. Like for example, if you're doing linked list, you know that every question can be answered using some approach of linked list. Then and as a result, you are not able to think in other dimensions. So I would recommend you, instead of practicing topic wise, start practicing interview experiences, because in those things you will never know what kind of data structure you have to use and what kind of algorithm you have to use. Using an algorithm is easy. This is what I feel, that using an algorithm or a variation of the algorithm is easy rather than deciding what to use. So if you want to start competitive
Okay.
coding, I would recommend you first identify which topics you're comfortable with and which you are not. The topics which you are not comfortable with, start practicing questions for that topic. For the topics in which you are comfortable, do not practice the questions of that topic. Just move to interview experiences and start practicing from there. That will actually give you an insight, and that will actually help you to decide what kind of algorithm should be used in some different scenarios.
Okay. I guess that yeah. So this is the winding up time now. Thank you so much for to the audience again for being so engaging, and thank you so much, Kunal, for answering their questions. And yeah, thank you so much. Yes. Okay.
Thank
Perfect.
you, Aishwarya, for
So
inviting me. That was a good experience.
yeah, I hope that you enjoyed the session. I hope that
Yeah,
and I really
right,
hope that our
exactly.
viewers also enjoyed this session and got their answers and got their queries very sorted. So yeah. Okay, so now I have to talk to the audience for a while, Kunal. I bid you bye. I'll bid you bye from here, and thank you so much for this session, this
Thank you,
insightful
Shwarya.
session.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you
Okay,
so much,
bye, guys.
Kunal. Bye bye. All the best. Right. Perfect. Okay. Yuvraj. I'll drop the link of the LinkedIn profile in the bio, and then you can connect it. You can also check the description if the link is there. So if not, I'll just put the link in there, and you can connect with him on LinkedIn as well. So, important news, guys. As we all know that there is a pandemic situation in our country right now, and we know that some of sometime maybe us need some help. And if you guys need any sort of help regarding the COVID scenario that is going on, you guys can connect with us on our links, Instagram and Twitter handles, and we will try our best to share the requirements in the audience that we have on these social media platforms and get you the help. Also, we have started a portal with all the details of the requirements that are details of the sources that are there to provide you with help, and the description of the same is in the link below. Sorry, the link of the same is in the description below. So yeah, you can check that out, and the link contains all the information regarding the resources, COVID related resources. So you can check that, and it will be there in all the interview descriptions. You can go through that, and if you have want any help from our side, our social media platforms are on 24/7. You can text us there, and we'll put on the requirements, because these are the times we are going to help each other and nobody else. So yes, let's help each other out, let's contribute to the society. Yeah. Great. Now, moving forward to the webinar, I hope that you have enjoyed our webinar, and we know that it's a tough situation, but not will make your study process and the learning process easy. And that's why we are here, increasing our frequency of the webinars and everything, so that you can not, so that you won't put a stop to your learning. We'll be increasing the frequency of the webinars. We are working on it, and if anybody wants to be a part of this webinar series, and they want to share the webinar experience, they can mail me or Akshay Bhaskar. I am pretty sure that you are aware of him. So you can mail me ashwara.singh@geeksforgeeks .org, or Akshay Bhaskar akshay.bhaskar@geeksforgeeks .org, and with the subject line live mock interview, or interview experience for professionals or normal interview, any with your resume, with your introduction, and we'll get back to you. We'll check it out, and we'll get back to you for the interview experience. Also, there is you can check out our a complete interview preparation course with doubt assistance. The link of the same is in the description below. You can check that. It's going on ₹1,000 off sale. So yes, you can also you shouldn't miss that opportunity, because it's quite, you know, crazy course. You should have that course, because it combines of your 4 years of learning into a 6 months of learning with doubt assistance. So it's a good deal. So yeah, guys, at last I just want to say, stay tuned with us. Don't forget to subscribe our channel, because the frequency will be increasing and you will be getting more and more content. And also just start, we would love to have a feedback from you guys, that what type of content you want like I'm taking an insight from this webinar, that how Omkesh has mentioned that he wants some scenario based questions. We try to put more scenario based questions in the webinars. So that type of feedbacks we will be needing from your end. And if you if you can just tell us in the comment section that okay, you want a webinar of this kind or that kind, any kind, we'll prepare for you. And because we want you to grow, and if you'll grow, we'll also grow. So yes, let's contribute to each other's growth, and let's help out each other in this question in this scenario. So yeah, and take care of yourselves, eat healthy, and take care of your family. And yes, we surely get through this. We are here with each other, right? Yuvraj Singh, I have jotted down your point. I'll surely work upon that. You want more interview based questions? I'll go for it, and I'll surely add. We'll try our best to give you a better experience. So thank you guys. We'll be back tomorrow with another session of interview experience, and yeah, with another webinar. So till then, bye bye. Take care. Good night.